Hey, you guys. Hey, welcome back to the cafe. A cafe. How are you today? It is Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. Hi, everybody. Hey. Hey, Henny. Thank you for the 600 subs. Congratulations. Thank you. I saw that this morning. I was like, woo, we did it. We did it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to all the new subscribers. Welcome. And of course, thank you to my OGs. I love my OGs. Hey, Margaret, are you here, ma'am? Are you here? Hi, Gail. Hey, Gail. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, Sherry. Thank you, Morgana. Hi. Hi. You guys, Morgana sent most hilarious the most hilarious. I need to make we need to make a meme out of that picture that she took of what she saw when she looked through her sliding glass door. It was her cat laying on its back, and all you could see was its legs sticking out from behind some boxes, and it is hilarious. All right, you guys. Hello and welcome. So, I just saw today, thank you to Sleuthy on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I have my notifications turned on from her, and I saw that man, Matthew Farwell, was arrested. Not only just arrested, he was brought, the SWAT team came and got him yesterday for Sandra Birchmore's murder. Massachusetts grand jury indicted him. I have the document. Okay, you guys put a 1 in the chat if you remember this story about Sandra Birchmore. For those of you who were introduced to this story while we were covering the Karen Reed case or the Karen Reed trial, this was another whole like cover-up situation in Massachusetts. And some of the police from the Karen Reed trial are connected to the police in Stoughton. Stoughton is where this police officer worked. And actually him and I believe his brother, I can't remember his brother's name, and then another, there were a handful, 2 or 3. Okay, some of you guys remember. Okay. So the Sandra Birchmore, I think her parents died when she was young, and then she lived with an aunt or grandparent, or I can't remember her situation, but she ended up like joining into the like junior police program they have, right? And from the time she was a very young girl until the time of her death, she had, well, I won't say she had, but the police officers that were her mentors had very inappropriate sexual relations with this young girl. And it was just sort of like swept under the rug all this time. So they were completely like grooming the crap out of her. And she continued a relationship with the Matthew Farwell. She was pregnant, and he allegedly made it look like she committed, I don't want to say the word, but the S word, took her own life in her apartment while she was pregnant. and she was very excited about this baby, according to her friends and people that knew her. And she had Amazon boxes just piling up left and right with brand new baby stuff. So, her friends and acquaintances, people that knew her, are like, why would she wouldn't do that? She wouldn't have taken her life. So it has been apparently, well, the Massachusetts grand jury in Massachusetts saw the evidence apparently, and they thought fit to indict him for her murder. So there we go. And the FBI swatted in yesterday, the SWAT team, and they were like, yeah, you're going with us. According to an article I read, it said that he went in without incident. So thank goodness for that. Hey, QB, did you see this news, ma'am, today? Did you see this? Finally, a little bit of justice happening, right? Okay, so there's supposed to be a press release at 1:30 or 1:45, but I read one place was 1:30 Eastern, another place is 1:45 Eastern. So let's get into this, okay? QB's like, girl, the coffee is hot today. All right, nice drink of hot coffee. Okay. So we have, let me share this little nugget here. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. Let's share this little nugget right here. This is from NBC 10 Boston. Just a quick little 55-second video with an update. This update, though, was 2 days ago. And he's basically talking about a standout that they had out in front of the community had out in front of the, I don't know if it was the courthouse or police department or where, but let's play this real quick. Let's do this.
Canton Town Hall this afternoon for a standout seeking justice for Sandra Birchmore. Birchmore was found dead in her Canton apartment. This was back in 2021. She was only 23 years old and pregnant at the time. Her death was ruled a suicide with no foul play suspected. But a 2022 internal investigation by the Stoughton Police Department found that 3 of its officers had inappropriate sexual relations with Birchmore. Recently, a pathologist hired by Birchmore's family put out a report saying the cause of her death is strangulation and the manner of death is homicide. People at the standout today say they will continue to speak up for Sandra.
We care about Sandra.
This gal right here, she has a YouTube channel. Daggone it. I can't remember what it's called. Shoot. She has a YouTube channel. I think she may have TikTok too or something, but I'm not sure. But she has been like a strong advocate for Sandra Birchmore and her story, and, really sticking to getting justice for Sandra. So kudos to this gal, Melissa Berry, it looks like is her name. Kudos to her.
We care, and it matters. Sandra's life mattered, and we're going to stand up for her as much as we can. We're going to use our voices to speak out for her because she can't speak anymore.
So we're told multiple law enforcement agencies continue reviewing the case and all the information. All Canton Town Hall.
All right. So that was 2 days ago. Then yesterday, let me find it. Hold on a minute. I've got it right here somewhere. Okay. Canton, right? They're like, we're done with this. We're done. All right. So this article here is from ABC6. Posted 59 minutes ago. It says indictment, former Stoughton police officer murdered Sandra Birchmore and staged suicide. Ugh. Boston, Mass. FBI's Boston SWAT team has arrested a former Stoughton police officer in the homicide of Sandra Birchmore. Matthew Farwell was taken into custody without incident and is charged with 1 count of killing a victim witness. That makes me question, though, are there going to be additional charges because she was pregnant? You know, that's my first question. 1 count of killing a victim / witness. The indictment against Farwell states that he and Birchmore were engaged in a sexual relationship before Birchmore was 16 years old. Farwell first came into contact with Birchmore in 2010 due to her participation in the Stoughton Police Department Police Explorers program, for which Farwell was a volunteer. Birchmore was 12 years old at this time. 12. Okay, so I don't know if that's when, I don't know when the abuse started, but it says their alleged relationship went on for several years, and according to the document, Birchmore informed Farwell in or around December of 2020 that she was pregnant with his child. Birchmore's friend also called the Stoughton Police Department around January 20, 2021, so the following month, to inform them that Farwell had a sexual relationship with Birchmore, and a Stoughton PD employee later told Farwell about this call. Eesh. So, Farwell is accused of murdering Birchmore on or about February the 1st. So this was like 10 days later. After they get the phone call from the friend. Farwell is accused of murdering Birchmore on or about February the 1st, 2021 by strangulation, and then staging her Canton apartment to make the death look like suicide. This is a developing story, blah, blah, blah. And then here is a tweet from FBI Boston. Hey, Chaloon. Hey, Miss King. Hey, guys. Anybody else that's popped in and I've missed you, hi and welcome. This tweet, though, says breaking. This was posted at 11:59 a.m. today, Eastern time. So, about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Breaking: FBI Boston SWAT team has arrested former Stoughton police officer Matthew Farwell for allegedly killing Sandra Birchmore. We took him into custody without incident. Details to follow at a 1:45 p.m. news conference with DMA News 1 at the federal courthouse in Boston. So, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for that. Press conference. Just wow. Let me share this real quick. So that is his picture there on the left. Okay. That's his picture there on the left that says Matthew Farwell arrested. Then in the center, that photo of William Farwell is Matthew Farwell's brother. He worked at the police department too, and allegedly had inappropriate relations with Sandra Birchmore as well. The Robert Devine on the right-hand side, I'm not 100% positive what the deal was with him, but I don't know if I think he was the chief, if I'm not mistaken. He's a twin, right, QB? Yeah, I thought they were twins, but I wasn't. I remember reading that they were twins. The Robert Devine, though, I believe he was the chief of police when this was going on. But that's about as far as I know. I don't know that he had any inappropriate relationships with, or relations with her, but QB might know. And if she does, she can put that in the chat. But I do have, so I just want you guys to see his picture, his big ugly mug right there on the screen. QB said, I can't remember if he had relations, but he knew what was going on with the program. Okay. Whew. All right. Let's take a look at this indictment. Boop, 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 boop. Can you guys see that good? I hope you guys can see this good. All right, United States of America v. Matthew Farwell, defendant, indictment. This was filed on 8/27/24, which was yesterday. Indictment at all times relevant to this indictment. And then it says general allegations. 1. Between, on, or about March 27th, 2012 and on or about April 1, 2022, defendant Matthew Farwell, hereinafter Farwell, was a sworn officer of the Stoughton Police Department in Stoughton, Massachusetts. In his capacity as a Stoughton police officer, Farwell also served as an instructor for the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy, hereinafter the Police Explorers, which was a vocational education program for local youth. The Police Explorers was designed to enable youth participants to learn about law enforcement careers. Hold on. Okay, 2. Sandra Birchmore was born in May of 1997. In or around March 2010, Sandra Birchmore applied to be a participant in the Police Explorers. At that time, Birchmore was 12 years old. She began participating in the program in or around the spring of 2010 and remained in the program through in or around 2016. Prior to in or around 2012, Farwell was a Police Explorers volunteer. He became an instructor when he started working for the Stoughton Police Department in 2012. Before Birchmore attained the age of 16 years old, Farwell engaged in sexual intercourse and other sex acts with Birchmore. Farwell's sexual contact with Birchmore continued until in or around early 2021. Now, this dude is married, too, and I think his wife was expecting a baby, like, the day or two after he murders her. I mean, trigger warning, trigger warning. Hold on, let me put a banner up. Trigger warning. Because, hello. His wife had the baby the day after. Okay, that's right. And there is actual surveillance footage of the apartment complex where he comes in and out, going into the, foyer of the apartment complex. And then you watch him go up into the elevator and then come back down a little bit later. And she's never seen leaving again. So, okay. Number 5 says the Stoughton Police Department required employees, including police officers, to accurately report their time and attendance in order to receive wages and overtime. During some of the shifts, when Farwell was supposed to be performing his duties as a Stoughton police officer, he was instead engaged in sex acts with Birchmore. He failed to disclose that information to the Stoughton Police Department, and he took steps to... let me turn my notifications off. Hold on a minute. He failed to disclose that information to the police department, and he took steps to conceal his conduct from other department employees. In or around December 2020, Birchmore learned that she was pregnant. Birchmore told Farwell that he was the father of the child. On or about January 20, 2021, Birchmore's friend called the Stoughton Police Department and told a department employee that Farwell had been having sex with Birchmore. Shortly thereafter, a Stoughton Police Department employee told Farwell about the call. On or about February the 1st, Farwell killed Birchmore by strangulation. Shortly thereafter, Farwell staged Birchmore's Canton, Massachusetts apartment to make it appear as if Birchmore had committed suicide. Count 1, killing a victim, killing a witness or victim. Hey guys, coming into the chat. Hello, hello. Hey, Kelly B. He is in a black hoodie looking guilty. AF. Yeah, he is. Hey guys. Yeah, that one wasn't you, QB. QB offered to read this, but it's only 4 pages. So, and I want to get through it before we get to the actual presser. So I want to get to that really soon. Okay. The grand jury charges. Number 9 says the grand jury realleges and incorporates by reference the allegations in paragraphs 1 through 8 of this indictment. 10 says on or about February the 1st, 2021 in Canton, in the District of Massachusetts, the defendant, Matthew Farwell, did kill Sandra Birchmore, a person known to the grand jury, with malice aforethought, willfully, deliberately, maliciously, and with premeditation, and with the intent to prevent the communication by any person to a law enforcement officer of information relating to the commission or possible commission of a federal offense, to wit, commission or possible commission of the federal offenses of deprivation of rights under color of law, in violation of blah, 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 coercion and enticement in violation, and wire fraud in violation. Wire fraud? What? All in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code, blah, blah, blah. And then that's it. And then we have the signatures of the state's attorneys, deputy clerk, all those things, and all that jazz. And what a POS, right? So, hello, back in the chat. I'm going to look real quick and see if I can locate a feed for this press release. Wow, this is just mind-blowing. I mean, you know, it kind of makes me think of the whole saying, you know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Also, go with your gut reactions, you know? Hey, Kel, welcome back. Chaloon says, I'm not allowed to type what I want to say, but you're all thinking it too, at least. Gail says, please don't tell me he had hung out at the waterfall. Oh my God, right? I'm sure he probably had, right? And he's like, what a douchebag. QB, right? She says, I don't know a lot, but the fact that they are twins and both had relations, that's a problem. That's disgusting, is what that is. Ugh. I mean, even in a normal, like, consenting age of adults, that would be gross. But Miss King says, and who helped to investigate this? Wasn't Proctor involved with it? Maybe not, but I would not doubt it. I believe it was Kevin Albert, one of the Albert brothers. I believe it was Kevin was one of the investigators on this case. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what I read. Excuse me. And we didn't see Kevin Albert during the Karen Reed hearing or trial. But I believe Kevin and Lank, was it Lank? I can't remember, but right, Miss King. I know. I mean, they're like a hop, skip, and a jump away from each other. It is but reasonable doubt as to who the baby belongs to. I know. But, I mean, who's to say that she was still having inappropriate relations with the brother at that point, you know? Who knows? I don't know, but man. Okay. I'm looking for a presser link. You guys. I wonder what that SWAT looked like when they, you know, did he know that? I mean, with all of the, I've been seeing some chitter chatter about this lately. And I knew that things had been moving in the, like, justice system as far as as far as those cops were concerned. But, oh yeah, a good defense attorney will spin it that way. Yeah. Gail said, did they still have a body? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if she was buried or cremated, though. Ooh, Miss King, that's a good thought. Ooh, this poor young girl. If these officers are twins, she may not have known if they switched places. That's a good thought. They don't look identical to me, though. DNA is identical. Are they I don't think that they're identical twins, though. I don't know how twin stuff and DNA works, to be honest. I have no clue. But, Yankees. Okay. Okay, does anybody see, if anybody happens to find, because I'm looking, if anybody happens to see a live link to a press conference, Let me go over here and look. Sandra Birchmore press conference. Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum ba-dum bum 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 bum. I'm looking on Twitter too. I keep refreshing the feed for her hashtag. Bum 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 ba-dum. Bum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum. Let me check. Hey, Brenda. Oh, they are identical, but you can tell them apart. Yeah. Okay, it was Lank, Kevin Albert, Guarino, and Fanning. Okay. Well, Miss King, though, she was pregnant in 2020. In 2020, she was pregnant by Matthew Farwell. So she was like 20 something years old at this point. Yeah. GMA News 1. DMA News 1. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, live stream here. All right, I got it, you guys. I got it. Oopsie, I didn't mean to do that. Let me make it smaller there. Bum 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 bottom. Bum 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 bottom. Okay, here we have the tab. Now let me just make it bigger. All right, there we go. So we are waiting. Audio is on. Let's go. Let's do this. I want to see what they have to say. Oh, here we go.
Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. 1, 2.
Mic check. Mic check.
Good.
Thank you guys for joining. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button while you're waiting, while we're waiting. Also, when this is over with today, I do want to do another stream concerning Mom to Bot. There's some stuff breaking in that case. The pediatric nurse with the 10-month-old baby girl whose husband killed her, allegedly. I want to talk about that today, too. Yes.
Okay, so we'll be down in about 5 minutes, but I just wanted to let you know how it's going to go down. There'll be 2 speakers today. The acting U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy, Levy. He will be joined by the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI in Boston, Stephen Kelleher, and it's Stephen with a PH. And then we're going to open it up to questions. Just so you are aware, I don't see you're here, but I think the Stoughton Police Chief will be here, but not able to answer questions at the press conference. But I believe she'll be available outside if you did want to speak to her. Okay. Assistant Special Agent in charge, ASAC, yeah, for the FBI in Boston. Kelleher. He has initial appearance at 2:30 today, by the way.
I thought it was 2:45.
Oh, she moved to 2:45?
Unless it changed.
What is it, 2:45, Julie?
Is it 2:30? Oh,
Hang on.
yeah.
Yep, courtroom 22 with an overflow in courtroom 6. They are going to be looking for, this isn't my thing, it's a court thing, but they will be looking for credentials down in that courtroom, so make sure you have them. Okay. All right.
You guys. Such a big deal today, man. Such a big deal. This is excellent, excellent news.
Do you have a camera with you?
I do not.
Okay. You have a credential?
So they did say that they were moving it from 1:30 to 1:45. So it is 1:44. So they look like they have their ducks in a row. Hopefully they'll start right on time. Hi and welcome. Hello and welcome. Huge breaking. Incredible news in this case for those of you that have been following the Sandra Birchmore story. Amazing. Oh my goodness. You know what? I would love to see body worn camera of him being arrested. Oh, and another, thing that it makes me think about is the whole age situation and the grooming thing with people that, are supposed to protect you. Makes me think about Madeline Soto all the more. It's really sad. Margaret says she's got to stop eating and pay attention. Just make sure you got your coffee. That's all that matters, right? Got to have the coffee. Margaret's on cup number 2. Oh, here they come. Looks like they're loading in. Ooh, verdict and tell us, huh? They sure had a lot of questions, the jury did. I kept getting notifications that would say, you know, jury has a question, jury has a question, jury has a question. The Boss Baby case. Yes. Oh my goodness, come on. Trying to be patient. Oh, the verdict is being read at 3 o'clock. Okay. Angry Elmer Fudd. I still have to go back and watch his testimony. I started it, like his day one on the stand couple nights ago and fell asleep. So. All right. You are 3 minutes past time. Let's go. While we're waiting, look at your phones real quick and tell me what your current temperature is. Kiddo hollering, Mom. Okay, you guys. I gotta go grab her something real quick and I will be right back. Ooh, 77 and 102. It's 92 here. And the real feel is 97. So, okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab her something, couple minutes. Hopefully they'll be here by the time I get back in here.
Good afternoon. On February 4th, 2021, Sandra Birchmore was found dead in her Canton, Massachusetts apartment. The charges filed today in federal court allege that she was in fact murdered by Matthew Farwell 3 days earlier. At the time of her death, Sandra Birchmore was a 23-year-old woman with her entire life ahead of her, and she was pregnant with her first child. We allege that Sandra Birchmore survived years of grooming, statutory rape, and then sexual violence, all at the hands of Matthew Farwell, who was employed throughout their relationship as an officer and then detective for the Stoughton Police Department. And when it became clear to Mr. Farwell that he could no longer control Sandra Birchmore, he allegedly silenced her permanently. This morning, Matthew Farwell was arrested on a federal grand jury indictment, charging him with one count of killing a witness or victim. Specifically, Mr. Farwell is charged with violating Title 18 United States Code 1512 for killing Sandra Birchmore with the intent of preventing her from communicating information about his possible commission of federal crimes. How did this all unfold? What happened here? Well, back in 2010, a 12-year-old Sandra Birchmore applied to join the Stoughton Police Department's Explorers program, which introduces teens to policing. Officer Matthew Farwell was an instructor in that program. And as alleged in court documents, he befriended Sandra Birchmore, contacted her online, went to the library with her, became friends on Facebook, essentially groomed her. And then he committed statutory rape by having sex with her when he was a 27-year-old police officer and she was just 15 years old. Mr. Farwell continued to have a sexual relationship with Sandra Birchmore until her death 8 years later, allegedly meeting her for sex regularly when he was on duty and being paid by the Stoughton Police Department. Now, in the weeks leading up to Sandra Birchmore's death in February 2021, she found out that she was expecting a baby. And she told Mr. Farwell that he was the father. According to court documents, Ms. Birchmore was very excited about becoming a mother, buying baby clothes and other items, taking precautions to ensure the health of her new child. Sandra Birchmore had good friends, she had a good job, she had dreams of becoming a nurse, and she had a child on the way. But Mr. Farwell did not share in that excitement. It's alleged that Mr. Farwell reacted quite negatively to the news that Sandra Birchmore was pregnant with his child. And he acted angrily, it is alleged, when Sandra Birchmore started making requests of Mr. Farwell around doctor's appointments and ultrasounds and what information would be on the birth certificate. Mr. Farwell was losing control in late 2020, early 2021, and the information that Sandra Birchmore possessed about his illegal conduct was in danger of slipping out. In fact, word started to get out about their relationship. Less than 2 weeks before she was found dead, someone called the Stoughton Police Department and disclosed that Matthew Farwell had had a relationship with Sandra Birchmore. And when Mr. Farwell learned about that call, he became visibly angry. Mr. Farwell, it is alleged in these court papers, started to lose his patience, lose his temper, and the 6'4" Mr. Farwell started to be physically violent with 4'10" Sandra Birchmore. And Sandra Birchmore told her friends that Mr. Farwell had pushed her and shoved her and put her in a chokehold. She was scared. And during that same time, Mr. Farwell was allegedly planning Sandra Birchmore's murder. For the first time, he requested a key to her apartment. And she told friends that he was oddly inspecting the apartment and looking at the closet, including the closet that she was found dead in front of. And then it all came to a head on February 1st, 2021. Mr. Farwell went over to her apartment that evening, and he strangled Sandra Birchmore to death. That's the allegation in this case. And he used his knowledge and experience as a law enforcement officer to stage her death to look like a suicide. He allegedly attempted to cover his tracks to literally try and get away with murder. And he almost did, until today. Back in 2021, with the information that was available, Sandra Birchmore's death was ruled a suicide, or deemed a suicide. But over the last year or so, the FBI and our office have been working exhaustively with our state partners. We've uncovered new, critical new information, examined the existing information, all of which led to this federal grand jury indictment. If convicted on this charge, Mr. Farwell faces a minimum of life imprisonment. Giving voice to the voiceless, ensuring that no one is above the law, protecting the vulnerable people of Massachusetts, that's the highest calling of people in law enforcement. And this case represents those principles. And every day across Massachusetts, thousands of police officers, federal, state, local law enforcement, put their lives on the line to protect the people of Massachusetts. Mr. Farwell violated those principles, and now he faces very grave consequences. It is disheartening to have to charge law enforcement officers, especially with crimes this serious. But it's our job at the Department of Justice to investigate potential crimes without fear and without favor. We do in this office what we've been doing for decades with our federal partners like the FBI. We follow the facts, regardless of where they lead. We apply the law and the principles of federal prosecution, full stop. We are not influenced by social media chatter. We are not influenced by politics. We're influenced by the facts and the law. Our mission is to do our level best to do justice in every case. And our mission today is to do justice for Sandra Birchmore. Lastly, I want to note that we are sharing the information and the evidence that we developed in this case with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, with the Massachusetts State Police, and with the Massachusetts Attorney General's Office, so they can assess whether state charges may be warranted in this situation. And I want to thank those three agencies. I also want to thank the Stoughton Police Department for their assistance in our investigation. Lastly, I want to commend the women and the men of the FBI Boston and Lakeville for their incredible work on this case. This is a dogged investigation. And as you look at the court papers, you'll see exactly how much work has gone into this matter. A huge credit to them, and I particularly want to thank the members of my office, the office I'm proud to lead, the victim witness advocates, paralegals, the chief of our Human Trafficking and Civil Rights Unit, Liz Riley, Assistant United States Attorneys Tori Cummings and Brian Fogarty. This case doesn't happen without their passion for justice. They deserve the credit, not me. Now I want to turn it over to Steve Kelleher, the Assistant Special Agent in charge of FBI Boston.
Good afternoon. I'm Stephen Kelleher, Assistant Special Agent in charge of FBI Boston. At approximately 10:45 a.m. this morning, the FBI arrested former Stoughton police officer Matthew Farwell for allegedly taking the life of Sandra Birchmore in order to ensure her silence. The FBI SWAT team took him into custody at a shopping plaza in Revere without incident. Immediately following his arrest, we shared this significant development with Sandra's family. We know it does not ease their pain, but hopefully it answers some of their questions. Simply put, this case is about seeking justice for Sandra, who we believe was killed by Matthew Farwell after he allegedly groomed and sexually abused her when she was just 15 years old, violating her body and her civil rights. It's also about keeping Mr. Farwell from getting away with murder and from harming anyone else. We in law enforcement are entrusted with immense authority because our decisions can have life-changing consequences, both good and bad. To temper that power, we must adhere to the highest of ethical standards. What we believe Officer Matthew Farwell did, as outlined in today's indictment, is depraved and a gross betrayal of his sworn oath and the public's trust. Let me be clear. Matthew Farwell's gun and badge did not grant him authority to violate the Constitution, and it certainly didn't entitle him to sexually exploit, abuse, and rape a child before killing her and her unborn baby in an attempt to cover up his alleged crimes. What's also troubling is we believe Matthew Farwell staged Sandra's body and her apartment to make it look like she had died by suicide. In the days that followed, this sworn police officer repeatedly lied to Massachusetts State Police investigators about the nature of their relationship. It's a stark contrast to the sheer excitement and pure joy that Sandra felt when she told Farwell that she was expecting his child, texting him a photo of a poster she had made celebrating the pregnancy. Our investigation also uncovered additional evidence that is inconsistent with someone choosing to die by suicide. In the hours leading up to Sandra's death, she reached out to a photographer to inquire about booking a newborn photo shoot. She also reached out to a friend about obtaining baby clothes. And at the time that she was in the middle of doing laundry when she died, with a load in the washing machine and another one in the dryer. There's no question this was a complex investigation, and our work is not done. Our agents, analysts, and financial investigators reviewed tens of thousands of text messages, emails, and financial records, conducted dozens of interviews with family, friends, and experts, and analyzed the crime scene. We urge anyone with information about the circumstances surrounding Sandra's death to contact the FBI. Committing murder to eliminate victims and witnesses is heinous, and it shakes the very core of our justice system, which depends on people truthfully testifying to what they know. Today's arrest shows that anyone who tries to interfere and retaliate against victims and witnesses in an attempt to subvert the rule of law will have to answer for it. After all, the public's trust is critical for our justice system to function properly. That's why the FBI will do everything in its power to bring to justice anyone who tries to undermine that trust. Our hearts go out to Sandra, to the Birchmore family, and all who knew and loved Sandra. On behalf of the FBI, I want to thank them for their cooperation, patience, perseverance, and fortitude. I also want to thank our agents and analysts for their hard work and dedication, Acting U.S. Attorney Josh Levy and his team for their partnership, and both Chief McNamara of the Stoughton Police Department and Colonel Mon with the Massachusetts State Police for their assistance in helping us move this investigation forward. Thank you. Next, Dave.
Take some questions.
John, why did it take so long to go from suicide to finding it suicide to now murder?
Well, I think if you have, when you have a chance to look through the court papers, you'll see how exhaustive this investigation is. Obviously, this is an incredibly serious charge. There was a lot of forensics and other evidence that had to be marshaled, expert witnesses, et cetera. So we move as fast as we can, and we also have a duty to get it right.
Was there a rush to find a suicide because this involved a police officer?
Yeah, our office wasn't involved in the initial determination of a suicide, so I can't speak to that.
You mentioned your office got involved about a year ago. What prompted that?
Yeah, we get leads on cases all the time from all different sources. I'm not going to comment on how we get information on how we got into this one.
As you said initially, this was considered a suicide, but it seems like there's a plethora of evidence to suggest otherwise. Surveillance, text messages. How was that all missed for the first 2 years?
Yeah, I'm only in a position to comment on what we've done on this investigation. Those questions are not something I'm able to answer to. We like I said in my comments, we started pulling this string and followed the evidence and got new evidence to put together the case we put together today.
What evidence tipped you off?
I'm sorry, sir?
What evidence led you to pick?
It's you're never able to pick one piece of evidence that is the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's really an accumulation. We have to go in front of a jury, 12 citizens, and convince them beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Farwell is guilty. That's on us. He's presumed innocent today, and he will remain innocent until we meet that burden. But it's all the evidence in combination makes that case.
Did the state medical examiner's office plan to change the cause of death on her birth death certificate, and did you determine who the father of her unborn baby was?
Well, I'll take those in reverse order. I'm not going to comment on the second piece. What we have alleged in the court papers is that Ms. Birchmore told Mr. Farwell several times that he was the father. And your question about the state medical examiner, obviously, they don't report to me, and that's a question better directed to the state medical examiner.
Matthew was mentioned here, but we've heard reports over the years of several other officers. Have you guys conducted any other ongoing investigations related to something?
So I think Assistant Special Agent Charge Kelleher alluded to the fact this is an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to comment on what the other pieces are that we're looking into, but it's an active investigation. Shelley.
This is a death penalty eligible case. Is that on the table, or is that already off the table?
Shelley, you're absolutely correct. The maximum penalty under this statute as charged is a sentence of death. And whether to seek the death penalty in a federal case is decided at the highest levels of the Department of Justice. That decision has not been made on whether the death penalty we sought in this case, and that process will continue, but I can't comment on it beyond that.
Would you favor that? Would you push for that?
Not going to comment on it. It's a process that involves a lot of people at the Department of Justice, and I'm not going to share my view on this.
Did all other officers in Stoughton or Stoughton government know about the grooming, the underage sexual contact that Matthew Farwell was having with Sandra when it was going on in those early 2010, 11, 12, 13?
I'm not going to comment on information that's not in the public record. As you heard, this is an ongoing matter, so we're going to continue to look into this matter. And if there's other individuals that we develop evidence that they've violated the federal law, we'll proceed.
Josh, can you touch on, it's murder, state usually is the
feds have jurisdiction on many cases, but what made this one get to federal authorities? And do you think that the state officials watched this investigation?
You know, there's a lot of overlap in the law between the federal government has jurisdiction over and what the state government has jurisdiction over. When someone comes to our office with credible information that a police officer may have been involved in a murder and underlying legal violations as set forth in the indictment, we're going to investigate that case every time. They come in different shapes and sizes, but that is our duty to the public, is to pursue credible leads like that and investigate them fully.
To follow up on her question, we saw Lieutenant Toledo said earlier, this was Norfolk Day's case first. You mentioned that they've been state partners throughout this. Does your office look into what may have went wrong in their investigation?
This case about what went wrong for Sandra Birchmore and how she was treated by Matthew Farwell and how he violated her rights and ultimately killed her. That's what this case is about. It's not about what happens at other state agencies. This is about justice for Sandra Birchmore.
This is the second major death investigation where your office has come to a different conclusion than Norfolk County DA. I'm sure you can't comment on that, but is that normal for federal prosecutors and state prosecutors to reach different conclusions on investigations?
So I'm here to talk about one case. We got about 1,000 cases in the office. I'm not going to comment on any other case in the office. I would just caution you to not extrapolate too much from one case out of all the things that are happening in our office.
This district has brought a charge of killing of a witness. I can't think of any others. I'm wondering if there are others.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. That's a question. That's an answer we could get for you, but I don't know the answer to it, Shelley. We bring charges of obstruction of justice frequently, as you know, but I'm not pulling one off the top of my head that matches this. Sorry. That's okay. Yeah, I'm not in a position to comment on things that are in the public record. That I wouldn't take that as yes or no, but I'm limited up here under local rules to talk about what's in the public record.
Can you talk about the arrest? What happened with the arrest this morning?
I'm going to ask ASAC Kelleher to speak to that.
So this morning we had a SWAT team that was in a location where Mr. Farwell was. He was taken into custody. He was driving a truck, gravel hauler, and he was safely taken into custody by the SWAT team, which is, you know, what we strive to achieve every time we do an operation like this.
Neighborhood?
No, he was in Revere.
Not in a neighborhood in Revere, was he on the highway?
No, it was in a shopping plaza in Revere.
Did he say anything?
We have not tried to interview him.
That dump truck you're driving, is that his new employment, presumably?
Again, I wouldn't comment on that here at this time, but he was driving the dump truck when he was arrested.
Before your agency got involved, there were other agencies investigating this. Can we expect to see any fallout from those lead investigators from other agencies who were responsible for finding justice in this case and did not?
You know, I think the juncture we're at right now is that we are working with state agencies. We've developed, as I said, new information that we're going to share with our state partners. They're going to make decisions about what charges are appropriate under state law, if any.
Can you tell us who the lead investigator was in this case before your agency got involved?
I can tell you the lead investigator was for our matter, which was the FBI. I don't know, I honestly don't have information on who the lead was in a state investigation. I don't get that type of information.
You've said that you're not, you're looking just to investigate Sandra Birchmore's death. That's the focus of this case, not what law enforcement agencies prior to you did. Is that within your jurisdiction to investigate what those state agencies did?
I think what I said was I'm here to talk about Sandra Birchmore, and I'm not here to talk about other things that are happening in the United States Attorney's Office. It's 125 federal prosecutors doing a lot of different things. In this case, this press conference is about one young woman who was, we allege, was killed by a Stoughton police officer, Matthew Farwell.
How your investigation might be complicated by the fact that you're going now into federal court where there is this, and you found that it was suicide, the Norfolk County DA's office opted not to pursue it. How does that affect your efforts now to prosecute?
Yep, good question. Look, in evaluating whether to bring charges, we obviously look at all the evidence that's both incriminating and exculpatory. All that gets turned over to defense lawyers. Mr. Farwell will be well represented in this case, and those facts will be put out in front of a jury. We are confident that when all the evidence is presented to a jury, if it gets that far, that those issues will not prevent us from securing a conviction.
Have you done your own, have your own person do an autopsy?
We-
That's come to a different conclusion? I know there's another one out there that's already been reported on.
That's correct. There's an expert witness. I don't want to get into exactly what that person did or didn't because I don't want to mischaracterize it, but it's in the court documents, who has a tremendous amount of experience in this field and has reached a different conclusion.
Just a couple more questions. And just to be clear, you're not going to comment on the other two officers who had sexual relations with Ms. Birchmore?
That's correct.
How unusual is it for a police officer to be charged with a capital offense involving sex with a minor?
It's unusual in my experience. I don't have a full handle on how often this has been done nationwide, but it's an unusual situation. And that's partly why it's so incredibly disturbing.
Anyone else?
Do you have any words of caution to departments that have police explorer programs based on what you learned from your investigation about how this was able to unfold?
Yeah, I'm going to stick to my swim lane. I'm not an expert on police explorer programs, and so I really don't have any intelligent answer to that question.
Thank you.
I think that's it. I think they are done. So, I was waiting for, for someone to ask, are there going to be more charges for the death of the baby? That's the first question I would have had, but very, very exciting news. And that agent, QB, said that guy was angry. The other guy that spoke, that mentioned the arrest and stuff, I would have assumed that, they would have arrested him at home. But apparently, SWAT team comes in on him in the middle of a shopping plaza. Like, dude's driving a dump truck full of gravel. What? Oh, they mean business, man. But one thing that he said that really struck a chord with me was, okay, for those of you in the chat who have had babies, I know there are some in here who haven't had human babies, but you've had fur babies. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know. But for those of you that have had human babies, when you are nesting, you go through that nesting phase where you want to wash all the baby's clothes in like the drift, right? And get all that stuff ready. And he literally said she was in the middle of laundry. I'm assuming probably washing some baby laundry too. She had a load in the dryer and a load in the wash. She was excited and had the poster she made that she showed Matthew Farwell. But he did not share in her excitement, Yeah, that's big. She did not end her own life. No. And I know that it can be done in the way that she was found, or the way that he made it look like, allegedly, the way that he made it look like she hung herself. But the way that it was done, that typically doesn't happen. That's not a normal way to do it. Especially if you're pregnant and you're that far along. Because I think any woman who is excited about the birth of their baby, about expecting a baby and they're happy about it, that maternal instinct would kick in and force her to get up off the floor and not stay there. Because the way that I think that she was found, if I'm not mistaken, was she was literally like sitting on the floor leaning forward with the whatever ligature was used around her neck fastened to the closet doorknob. I could be, wrong on some of those aspects, but it was not your typical hanging situation. So, I don't know. QB says if she hadn't been doing all the stuff to prepare for the baby and been so excited, it could have been plausible. Could have been plausible, right? I know. All right. You guys, that is it for this breaking news press conference. I'm super excited. I wish that we had, let me look real quick just to double check, just in case. Would have been really cool if they would have had a, mug shot, I'd like to see his mug. I'd like to see his mug shot. Not seeing one, but hopefully we'll have one soon. Piece of work though, right? I'm eager to see how this plays out. So, all right. I think I'm looking again on Twitter and I'm not seeing any I'll check Google real quick, but Matthew. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. All right. So I'm going to end this stream and we'll be back momentarily. Just make sure that you have your notifications turned on. Thank you guys for popping in and hanging out with us during this press conference and breaking news in the Sandra Birchmore case. I appreciate it. And I hope that if you stumbled over here and you're new to the Crime Cafe channel, that you stay and subscribe, click the notification bell, hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay later. So yeah, run errands and you'll be listening. Okay, Margaret, but keep your ears on and your notifications on and your eyes peeled and stuff, because we may have another Sandra Birchmore discussion later today. I do want to talk about Mom to Bot as well. So, all right. I will see you guys back very, very soon. See you later. Bye.